Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Don't know why I never fail to report it to you in Lagos, southwest of the country, where we're broadcasting from. When it drizzles, I'll let you know. When it's raining cats and dogs, I'll let you know. I think today is something of a shower. My guest, who was nodding in agreement there, is Debo Adeniran, Chairman, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, a.k.a. CACO. There you go. There you go. That's right. And we also have today Mr. Obaro Ugadhe.
Ugadhe.
Ugadhe. Ugadhe. I'll get it right from now on.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Ugadhe is an oil-field petroleum expert. Thank you very much for coming on as well.
Thank you, sir.
And we're, of course, the big news in the public space, of course, is this whole matter about oil theft. It's been out there now for quite a while. Well, maybe I'll hear more about it this morning because everybody is mentioning the name of Tompolo now, for short. His company has a contract, 48 billion naira a year contract. That's 4 billion naira a month. And really, he has begun to deliver, it would seem. It would seem. Everybody also is aware of videos that are going on social media. You've seen Tompolo himself. I've even read something from an official source. See, we don't exactly deal with Tompolo exactly, but with a security firm. Meanwhile, he's the owner of the security firm. So we want to try and find out, look, whatever they're going to do about it, now it's out in the open. Is anything going to be different? Now that it's out in the open, our beloved country being what it is, I don't think I want to say any more. Yeah. Is anything going to be different in terms of what has been going on for 9 years under our very noses, and it is now that we're hearing about it?
I believe the difference is coming out. You know, even with the recent revelation by Tompolo's firm and his workers. But then there had been a lot of revelations in the past. What we used to hear, something like illegal bunkering and all of that, you know, on the high seas and all that. But now, tapping right into the pipelines, you know, that's supposed to export our crude and to serve those who are working. I mean, the dilapidated refinery that we have in this country is a new dimension to it. And that it has come to the open means that the solution is nigh. And if the government of the day become more serious, because I know that Shell, I mean, it could not say they do not have, you know, security personnel that are carrying out surveillance on this pipeline before. NNPC, all of them are supposed, even DPR are supposed to do a lot of things. And the National Assembly are supposed to oversight the function of this, apart from the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. What have they been doing all these years? That is where Tompolo's intervention becomes a kind of rescue mission.
Indeed, and it's I beg your pardon, yeah. To you know, hear from Obaro. It's strange, isn't it? But we are now hearing this. The contract that Tompolo's firm has existed before the arrival of this administration, but you know, I think for some reason something happened. Somebody was saying on here yesterday that it was whatever was the situation. I don't want to, because it's a legal matter. Let me not say it was abrogated or whatever. But Tompolo reportedly had to sort of give way when the heat was hot. But now it looks like he's been invited back in, and he has begun to do, you know, what indeed the contract stipulates.
You see, I'm a practical person, and I want to correct a few things here.
Sure.
Oil theft never starts now. Oil theft has always been on and been with us even before 1956. Let us get that clear.
Okay. So oil theft has always been a thing.
Yes.
Never mind.
Even before the multinationals begin to pay for this oil that you never fix the price, that they fix it for you. There was a time they were taking the oil away and only royalties were given to you. Not that we determine the royalty, they determine it for us. That is clear. Another thing, before 2011, how many of you heard about Tompolo? I'm not picking on Shell, but they are the biggest as far as oil exploration and production is concerned in Nigeria. At a point in time, the entire country was given to them to explore and produce oil. This is the sole reason why they occupy the best mining licenses, oil fields. If you see Shell, for example, they don't play in the downstream.
Okay.
Have you seen any Shell filling station?
They no longer play in the downstream. They
no
used
longer.
to.
Yes,
I think they became national. Shell became national.
Yeah, became
remember?
national.
But as he's saying, that
I know what I'm saying.
That's right.
You know, Shell actually built the first refinery. I don't want to, because time might not be enough. You understand? But before 2011, who heard about Tompolo? You understand? Pipeline security has always been a key principal factor in oil production. And for your information as well, Shell has their own police in this country. They bear arms. They have their own prison yards in this country.
wait,
In Ogunu, Warri Delta State.
that is a fact.
Of course.
How can a private entity have a detention or correctional facility?
They have.
Yes.
I'm telling you where they are now.
It can happen.
They have in
It
Ogunu,
happens. I see.
Ogunu Delta State.
By the way, is this usual? I mean, does this go on in any country? Shell or anybody can have a prison in any country they're operating in, or is it a unique peculiarity of us here?
It depends on the arrangement they had with the government of the day in this country.
Okay.
But what I do know is that they do have prisoners there, oil installation vendors, and they have pipeline security that they take people there. Sometimes you have some people, they're fed up, they just go there to disturb the oil flow station, and they take them there so that they can get some food because they were fed there in the prison. But aside that, look at the volume of oil being stolen per day. What just happened this few weeks now is what I will call image laundering.
How do you mean?
Initially, when the government made it public that they've given Tompolo a contract for 48 billion, 4 billion monthly, you saw what the reaction of the public were.
Well, yes, especially in Niger Delta area itself.
Even here in the ex-militant, a criminal, this, that, all sorts. But after this incident that happened, what is the perception now?
What perception do you take? I wonder. Because people, the perception, if you asked, if it wasn't a rhetorical question, people are sort of saying what exactly Debo was saying earlier. Say, how could this have been happening?
The truth is that for so long, there have been confusion in the way pipelines were protected. A lot of allegations have been flying around that even the security agencies that are supposed to protect the pipelines are complicit in the oil theft that has been going on. And because of that, you know, when in the days of militancy, when you have several of them, including Asari Dokubo, Tompolo, the other fellow, all of them, President Yar'Adua came and intervened. And what they arrive at is what they call amnesty program, asking militants to surrender their arms.
Yes, ceasefire, surrender.
But then along the line, they discovered that the official security agencies, the police, the NSGC, and the rest of them, could no longer cope with the surveillance on the pipelines. Then the militants who had been in the creek all their life, came up to give evidence that they know everywhere theft was going on, and that they have the capacity to get into those places more than the regular security agencies, not that even the naval security agencies, that they could do it. President Yar'Adua agreed with them, and that is what led to what Goodluck Jonathan followed up and awarded contract, not only to Tompolo then and to some other militants, but then it's like most of the militant leaders at the Niger Delta creeks defer more to Tompolo. It's like Tompolo allowed the merry to go round, and that he recruited good hands from all the militants, militant groupings that were in the Niger Delta, and they came with one voice. Okay, well, it could be an image laundering thing. You remember that even Mele Kyari said that it was an expert job that tapped into all of these, major pipelines, not somebody, a ragtag person, weather or whatever, that could just get there and do that kind, fine job.
In fact, so much.
Now that means
I want to disagree with you.
Please.
Yes, let me set the record straight. Tompolo,
yes,
because of his own geographical position, where he is, that is where you have Nigeria's first major terminal, which is the Escravos and Focados.
okay.
Okay? Look, the militants didn't lay the pipes.
Militants lay the pipes?
They didn't lay
Okay.
pipes. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
You understand? The militants cannot understand the pipes more than those who lay the pipes. You understand? This Trans-Escravos pipeline is a 24 inches to convey only 250,000 barrels per day. For your information, I want to state it categorically clear that Nigeria does not produce 1 million barrels, 2 million barrels, 3 million barrels. Nigeria produces well over 3 million barrels of crude oil per day. The oil theft you see now is underreported. Let me cite another example.
Why do you say that? I mean, I'm looking for...
Because Nigeria has over 4,000 producing wells in this country. If Nigeria produces 1 million barrels per day, even less now, the multinationals will be gone, because it will not cover their overhead cost. It will no longer be profitable for them. Look, if Bonga, in Bayelsa State, Bonga oil field, you have the floating production and storage facility of Shell. If it is fully developed, only that, the field is produced from one central point, which is the Bonga, produces about 600,000 barrels per day when fully developed. As we speak now, they've signed the agreement to produce 225,000 barrels per day. They decide to stop the development of that western region of Bonga. So, if Bonga alone produces about 600,000 barrels per day, you're not talking the one for Total. You're not talking for ExxonMobil. You're not talking for IG. You're not talking for IG. You're not talking for
Mobil.
Noble, and you're not even talking for Solid. Hey, how do you produce less than 1 million barrels of crude oil?
So you believe that it's being underreported?
The data are there.
It's being underreported?
You want? Yes.
The theft.
Yes, it's underreported.
But what if anybody should say, look, okay, your guest, he's sounding good. Mr. Ugadhe is sounding
let me
good.
quickly.
So I wanted to ask.
Sorry, let me quickly chip in this. When you said that,
if people say you introduced him as an expert and as an an oil field petroleum expert. I mean, does he work in the because certainly you sound knowledgeable. What are his credentials to be saying what he's saying?
The information I'm giving you are field data information. It's not what you could find on Google. You could check that.
Field data. This is so. In other words, you have to be involved on the fields to know.
Of course, I just came from a reverse valve in Delta State.
I see. So the security aspects, the production aspects, because it seems to me that you have access to information, as you just said.
You as a professional, you cannot access any oil field without security check on you.
That's right. That's right.
The Navy is there. The Nigerian Army is there. The Nigerian Army now has a marine wing that has gunboats. The Navy, ditto the Navy. You have the civil defense. Then you have the company security themselves.
So with all of that, this is why Nigerians are wondering.
There's somebody not telling you that one civil person is the one out detecting where they fix attached pipe to siphon.
So what happens?
So that's why you say it's image laundering.
I also want to correct something that he said, that it might not be entirely true.
What?
Yar'Adua was forced to sign that amnesty. You know why? Because the determination of the militant was to drop oil production, and they could do it. And the moment oil production, the figures were not adding up. Don't forget, over 2/3 states in Nigeria will not be able to pay salaries. And let me say this here. The entire Nigeria security architecture cannot stop the militant. If you are annoyed,
but that is the reason why Yar'Adua signed the
that is why
amnesty.
I'm telling you that it was forced.
You know,
that didn't say he was not forced,
Yes.
because if there was no militancy that has overwhelmed the Nigerian security system, he would not want to negotiate with the militants.
Of course.
Okay, so that is why he signed that agreement. And
so in that sense, he was forced. In that sense,
yes,
And
in that sense,
there was no option.
he had no option. That is the best option that he had at that time.
Militant does steal oil. Okay? Oil theft is not carried out even in the pipeline.
They just create the enabling environment.
They force you to the negotiation table because it appears that is the only language the oil companies and the Nigerian government understand.
Let me ask you one thing, because our caption is the onslaught against oil theft.
Okay.
You have said, hang on, all of this is image laundering.
Yes.
Are we not actually, can we not be said to be in that state of onslaught against oil theft?
For me, it is all about drama until I begin to see the figure adding up. Because between 2011 to 2015, you don't even need to go to the Niger Delta. The central bank is there. The oil receipts are there. On the average, it was over 2 million barrels per day. How suddenly from 2015 to now?
Does anybody actually know the actual barrels per day produced in Nigeria? Because that's another figure that people complain is being kept secret. Do we actually know? We're using the figures that you've been banding around now. We talk in the budgets about estimates.
I think if you want to talk about the onslaught, we cannot talk so much about what is wrong. Okay, because the way to make a journey is to take the first step. It doesn't matter whether it is image laundering or whatever. What we see, ordinary people who are not in the creek, who are not experts in the field, analysis
with special access.
Exactly. What we are seeing now different from what we saw before, because we made a lot of noise. That look, every day people say, government will say that there's illegal bunkering, there's illegal connection, there's illegal. Why is it that they didn't get to the root of these illegal connections? Now,
until
they took
this private firm.
Yes, they took certain steps because all of this naval, all of them, they were there before. They didn't show us this 4 kilometer, 7 kilometer, pipeline through which the oil is siphoned from the Escravos and Focados pipelines and the rest of them. Now that we have seen, we see it as one step in the right direction.
Okay.
Because we need to know. We have to enjoy our right to know.
Okay.
Now that we know something.
Maybe you are saying, never mind onslaught, at least a step in the right direction.
I disagree.
What do you disagree with? That it's not a step in the right direction?
For me, before now, a few months ago, you heard what was happening in River State.
Well, I just remember, as you just mentioned River State, as you mentioned River State, my mind just went to a video I saw, I think it was yesterday night or this morning, about Governor Wike, not immediate, but complaining that all the defense forces there, they were all, hand in glove with the oil thieves. They were the people enabling them.
See, let me tell you something.
He was demanding the removal of a police officer. He was demanding the removal of that.
At the time, oil theft of that magnitude cannot be carried out in 24 inches pipe. Okay? When oil is being pumped, I don't know what people think. They think the crude oil is just running on the pipeline 247. No. The crude you are exporting is the one that you have processed. The one coming from the wellhead, you cannot steal that one. If you steal it, those who are stealing it does not have the capability to separate it, because it's coming with loads and loads of impurity.
How do you mean processed? When you say processed, is it processed such as what you and I buy into our cars?
No.
No, okay.
No. When crude comes from the oil well, from the wellhead.
The raw crude?
Yes, the raw crude, as it's coming with water, dissolved salt, and all kinds of impurities.
All those impurities.
So they must be separated to a particular standard, which is called inlet crude. That means
that is done. That is being done.
It goes to
it goes to the flow station.
Refinery.
No, wait.
Because
crude does not go from a wellhead and goes to refinery. It must go to a flow station and a compressor gas lift. That is where the separation and everything, so that the crude will be brought to the standard of a refinery.
That's
Do
right.
you understand?
To make it ready for the refinery.
The one being stolen is the one that has been processed for
up to that level. So it's easy to take it to any refinery. But it doesn't have to be ours.
You see, my own concern is this.
Sure.
Are you saying that there hasn't been any effort at all towards curbing these menace of oil theft? Are you saying that everything that government is doing now is a farce? That it's better they didn't do it.
No, well,
but for some of us,
I wouldn't go as far as better they didn't do it, but it's saying that it's image laundering.
Yes, if it is image laundering, well, it is yet to be seen that no gain will be recorded, because you have to. They started about 8 weeks ago. And about 30-something points of illegal connections have been detected.
58, please.
Okay, 58.
And these are now public.
Now, if we have that, at least it gives a kind of window of hope that if we discover the problem, then it is half solved. How do we now stop it?
I hear you.
Be the next.
So, because what we have seen already, you agree, cannot be unseen.
Yeah.
What Nigeria has now seen, which you say, well, you didn't say, but you're implying that is the tip of the iceberg, but that cannot be unseen. And so in that sense, you said you were hesitant to say whether this was actually a positive step in the right direction.
The reason I say this is, before you militarize the Niger Delta, you were producing well over 2 million. You were exporting. Now you brought your security, oil suddenly become less than 1 million barrels. Do we need to look elsewhere? This civilian security company you give the job to, the ones who carried guns, we not allow them to do the job.
I get what you're saying.
The reason is this.
You say the ones who are actually doing the stealing right now, because the militants are like reformed comrades, You are saying that there's an understanding they will not be able to do the job?
I think we are getting something.
I've got to go on a break. I beg your pardon.
Okay.
So you come into it. But I want you to sort of iron that point out so that we just understand, because clearly you have expertise. But we really must also, you must be able to carry us along. So
yes,
we
understood, of course,
so we understand what, because, in this kind of thing, journalism, people want proof.
Exactly.
So don't just say what you are saying. Give us proof. So that's where we were coming. But we'll be right back and we'll sort of understand this a bit better. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And my guests are still in place. Obaro Ugadhe, oilfield expert, and Debo Adeniran, chairman, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership. And in the meantime, Mazi Okorafor has called in. Good morning to you, Mazi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess.
Yes.
So, you see, first of all, it's good when somebody do anything good, you thank that person at least. Let's congratulate Tompolo for all this discovery. Tompolo, when Tompolo came on board, people were thinking it was maybe APC appointment of trying to bring Niger data. Now, people have seen the reasons why the federal government handled the job. And that is what they said. If you want to catch anything, give that job to that person that is the main actor of that place. You know exactly what to do. You don't have to catch that. Tompolo, whenever you have, kudos to you through this TVC, this morning program. Now, let's look at what is this show talking about, this oil. Now, Sayori and our guests. The boys in that creek, we call them artisanal refinery operators. They were telling us that kerosene we use in Nigeria have been produced by them. Now, if kerosene Nigerians are using today are being produced instead of NNPC we have in Nigeria with that refinery cannot produce it sounds one kind of funny that we shall like the federal government to look at it. And if you look at this and you see that NNPC told us this company, this issue of theft has been going on for over 9 years. Now, what were the NNPC security units, director of security, director of this and that, they have different units, maybe different areas. What were they doing for good 9 years? No matter how much the federal government will be telling us, no matter the difference customs will be telling us, man, it doesn't make sense. That means, Sayori, let Nigeria know, oil debt at the high sea is not a poor man's business. These are men that by pushers, people who knows what the state is talking about. Somebody doesn't have a good dollars and pounds cannot to break what they are telling about the debt. So all this issue of stealing, all this is boiled down to the elites. The elites now let's go back to the record. All these artisanal refinery, but now look at what one of them said. He said that they are making this, they are going to steal this oil in order to get their own food and feed their children and feed their people. That the same resources is also in Zamfara. Gold. The people in Zamfara are just mining their own gold in Zamfara. Nobody's arresting them. Rather, the government suspended it, but they are still mining and they are still paying them. So, Sayori, like our guests to give us this answer. What is the difference between the mining of gold in Zamfara and the mining of oil, crude oil, by these Nigerian boys? I would like the guests of this program to explain to us. Let us know the difference.
Okay, Mazi. Thank you very much for calling in. But Mazi, you're segueing the conversation into another area. And indeed, we might touch on areas about. Thank you very much for your contribution. But something he said, oil theft is not a poor man's business.
Of course.
It is not.
And I think, well, this is not politics, but Governor B is on record. There are videos of him saying that, according to him, quote unquote, it is government that is stealing,
of course,
all our oil.
Of course.
Governor Wike, he himself, he's saying.
That has been said since.
He's been saying it from time immemorial.
It's not about saying. Look at the volume. Government themselves said that at a point they said they're losing over 400,000 barrels. 400,000 barrels, that is about 2,000 trucks every day. As in, so that the layman out there will understand it.
How does that, I hear you, about 2,000 trucks. So how do you have such traffic and people don't know?
You see,
the GMD, now the Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited now says 600,000 barrels per day.
Yes.
Please, Mazi also said something. I'm not against Tompolo. For your information, I am happy for him to get that contract. And another thing is that pipeline security has always been civil security. NSPC does not have the largest pipeline
then
connection.
You are coming to where we
You say I'm coming, no, it's
from.
a contract I know about.
No, the thing has, what you said earlier.
Shell, for example, has 6,000 kilometers of pipeline across the Niger Delta. They've always secured them through civil security. And who are these civil security? Your area, your community, they look for people, they give them the contract, and they hire locals in that community to always patrol the pipelines. It has always been on. So while I'm saying it is image laundering, is this. Because at the time the contract was given to Tompolo, I also defended it on radio. When people were criticizing how do they give it, this.
That it's always been a civil affair.
Yes, that it is nothing new. It is not new. It has always been.
Well, I think it has been a concerted effort between civil populace and official security agencies.
But clearly, so the civil seem to have something of an upper hand.
Exactly. What happens is this, it's just like when local government says that, look, protect government facilities in your locality. That was how it began. Then, when this militancy began, because the Niger, we were part of Ogoni, what do we call it now? Agitation, since 80s with Kensarua and all of them. Now, we knew what was happening there, how devastated the land and the waters were. And we believed that it was a genuine cause for agitation. Now, what we have been asking for is that a lasting solution should be sought for the protection of pipelines and prevention of illegal bunkering. And that all the leakages that have been destroying the ecosystem of that region of the country should be stemmed. Now, before, we criticize government for giving contracts to civilian people when they have, their own arm of military and other security agencies. But then, when it was explained why Tompolo is the best man for the job, we came into it.
Okay, superior argument. As just very much as, he is saying that it's not new.
It's not new.
It has always been a civilian affair. But the part that I now need clarity on is I hear exactly where you're coming from. But you are saying that even Mazi Korafo said that give credit where it is due. Tompolo has made a difference, and you've explained that. I have nothing against Tompolo at all. I understand all of that. But the matter is that he doesn't think. I shouldn't say what you think. This whole matter about whether it is really an onslaught, when you introduce the expression image laundering, it seemed to be a bit discouraging. Maybe unless on this you sort of explain it a bit better. Where image laundering implies that it's not what you guys think. It's different from that. But it's been put together for you to have this concept that we are about to do something serious about it now. So that's the point I want us to stay on, that Nigeria is, to a lot of people, finally taking this thing this seriously. Formerly, impossible pictures to be seen are now being seen up and down. We now see that, this is what
journalists went to those
journalists have gone to those places. So in that sense, perhaps those of us that are not experts say that this is an onslaught against oil theft. And you say be cautious of using that term. Explain.
Yes. The reason is this. You look at the connections on the pipelines where there are tap-ins, okay? The crude oil flowing in that pipeline is being channeled via pump, okay? And at the point you look at the joint, crude oil as is coming with that force, the horizontal flow that the crude oil is being charged, you will have more of it. You understand? So actually still up to 1 million barrels from those channels, it will take months. Because the crude oil is being charged. And don't forget, this is laminar flow. What I mean by laminar flow is smooth flow. It's not violent. If it is violent flow now, then you see the crude, but look at those attachments.
How they could be done? Did they switch off the pipe?
I think it followed the principles of liquid finding its own level.
It's not. No. I'm telling you about how it is done.
Okay, well, that is general science. You are saying that is general science that you're talking.
The truth is this.
He is saying that as an expert, there are things that are not quite that way, and
I think I understand what he's saying.
Let us even assume. Let me paint this picture again.
I
think we are wasting too much time.
Don't determine that. I mean, because we need to see.
Let's go.
In the meantime, Jeremiah in Liverpool. No confirmation.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning, Jeremiah in Liverpool. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Yomi.
It's Yori with an R. It's Yori, Y-O-R-I.
Yori.
Yes, please, just a quick one. You see, the problem is that those oil pipelines couldn't have been there 9 years ago. Why? Because before this administration came in, 2016, if you look at the oil, Nigeria was meeting its oil quota. But suddenly, in the last 7 years, the oil production dropped abysmally, even below 1 million. So that shows that those oil pipelines, you say the problem with pipe is that because that area is salty, the pipe look rusted on the outside, that it's not long, because the oil production dropped abysmally below 1 million barrels just within the last 7 years. So those pipelines must have been placed there during this administration, and the buck stopped at the presidency. The Minister of Petroleum should be able to tell us exactly what is going on, because this sudden drop of oil production takes place in this administration. We have never had it this bad. That oil theft is beyond 1 million barrels a day. Before 2015, it used to be maybe 20,000 or so. It's horrible.
All right,
We've
then.
never had it this bad.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Jeremiah. I'm calling in from Liverpool in the UK. Well, we heard it, and you see, there are a lot of people that are interested in this subject matter. So we're trying to, understand it. People who are, really locked onto the current affairs of it, even specialist reporters, there's one thing. But experts are also in there. And they are giving us, if you want, an unprecedented view into this whole matter. Now, you heard the theory that Jeremiah just shared with us.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
It's correct. And why I say this is this. For example, the NNPC boss said that the pipeline has been there for 9 years. I was disappointed at that statement, being a geologist. Because as a geologist, you are as good as your data. You must get them correct, succinctly put together. Without any investigation, you just make that statement. Come on. It's really disheartening. That is one.
That has been in existence for 9 years.
Yes.
That statement.
Are we sure that there was no investigation? Are we sure that... I mean, because the thing that
because somebody that high up would not leave himself open
more information than the rest of us.
The ordinary person is. If he made that kind of a statement,
because he's working with all sorts of experts.
I would imagine.
I'm not saying he's not working with all sorts of experts, but if he's that good as working with all sorts of experts, the refinery should be working.
And also, how could this thing have gone undetected?
We are trying to solve a problem, Boyori. We are trying to solve a problem. If the problem had not been there, we will not demand for resolution of it. It is because of oil theft. You said before 1956, that oil theft is not new to this environment. That means that the thing has festered for so long. Now, we have to start the journey of bringing it under perpetual control. And that is what we believe the government has started. Because when they didn't start it, we protested at very many places.
You know, that they were in denial.
At Shell headquarters in Lagos here, almost every year, we carry our protest there, that they are destroying our environment and they are depleting, the resources that should accrue to Nigeria, that they should do something about it. We protested to government offices. We protested to NNPC. All of those that are involved, we protested against them, that they should do something that we will see. They claim they were doing something all this while. What exactly are you doing that we are not getting results? Now, they have started something. Maybe they are deceiving us. It is left to be discovered. But
we're in a much better place than we were 2 years ago, is the point that you are making. I hear that.
If we discover 58 points of siphoning, oil off the official pipeline, it means that we have discovered that much.
Indeed.
And we can do follow-up with a view to stopping it.
I hear you, and to that extent, maybe our caption about the onslaught, you sort of understand where we're coming from.
Yes.
If you have all of these revelations, even if, and I'm not about to argue of any expertise that you have, even if it's like the tip of the iceberg. That what you seem to be saying, that if you knew, it's like you are cautioning us to, don't get too excited about this whole matter. But you are saying that it's enough for me to be excited about because this is humongously beyond where we were before.
Exactly.
In that sense, do you not understand or do you not agree that
we have started?
Really?
Let me say this.
Thank you for completing my sentence.
Let me say
that we have started to be serious about this matter.
Let me say this. The pipeline we're talking about is for 250,000 barrels per day.
Okay.
Nigeria OPEC quota is 1,870,000 barrels per day.
Okay.
Currently.
Okay.
You are producing less than 1 million barrels per day. If you remove the entire 250 from about another 1 million barrels per day that is lost per day, let us even assume that the entire 250 is going per day. You still have 750,000 barrels per day. At where is this to? This one. Okay? At where is this to? That is why I am telling you that he made one statement that they have protested about environmental degradation. For your information, the security personnel you sent to that place between 2015 and now have done worse to the environment than what has happened from 1956 to 2015. Just go there and see what they do. Do you understand?
Because I do, but I want you also to understand that and a lot of Nigerians think that we are now on the right foot in terms of addressing this. But before you go any further, Okere in the UK called in. Good morning, Mr. Okere.
Yes, Mr. Yori. Is that Yori?
Good morning, sir. Yes, it is Yori Folare.
Yori, I do listen to your program sometimes, okay? What I'm asking now is, every time you keep deliberating on issues, every single day you keep saying it, repeating it from January till December, every time. But
it's what we do. It's a current affairs program.
Sorry?
It's what we do. It's a current affairs program.
Yeah, but I don't see actions. I don't see. But you have those who are responsible to carry out functions, but nobody does it. Every time you have issues to discuss, but I haven't seen anything that comes up from what you discuss every single day. Why?
Okay. Every single day we will discuss these issues, and the next day the issues are still there. That seems to be what you are saying. So why? Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Okere in the UK.
Yuri, let me just
okay,
say these
please.
things. You see, in scientific problem-solving method, you have to agree that there's a problem.
Which everybody does.
Then you have to look for the root causes of the problem. You have to look at effects of the problem. How has it affected the people and the environment? That is what is being done. Now, we cannot continue to...
Is a logical
then
approach.
How do we now, then, once you did all of that, you now look at, this is the tap root of the problem. How do you get to it and cut it?
This is what Mr. Okere was asking. That
exactly.
Every day I tune your program,
the thing
you
is
people are analyzing it.
Yuri, let me finish.
You're telling all
the thing is this, we have detected that oil theft is not being done by anyhow person at the grassroots.
Oil theft
is
not a poor man's business.
It's not a poor man's business. Now, we have detected that. Now, we know that those who are stealing oil are very powerful and influential. How do we cut their wings?
And that's it.
It's what we are working on now.
Indeed.
And the members of the public have to be sensitized that they have a role to play.
Indeed. I hear you, because it's been explained that it's always been a civil affair.
Exactly.
Anyway, Tompolo himself, he said it, I read the report, when people were a bit envious about why are you getting a 4 billion naira contract. There are many of us here. He said, look, he reached out to everybody.
Everybody.
It's a community business, anyhow, that kind of a thing. But I wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity. You've told us already how you see all of this, but we are on the right course, aren't we?
I think it is too early. When I begin to see the figures adding up.
Okay.
That is why I do not say anything without evidence that backs it up. You understand? I was in one of the...
But in terms of having found out now, as Debo is saying, what the source of this problem is, we see that it is not a bunch of
What I am saying here is that a 250,000 barrel per day pipeline cannot...
It's still part of the problem.
I'm not saying it's not part of the problem.
Cannot do what?
Cannot significantly drop Nigeria production to that level.
So you are saying that there are other pipelines.
It's more than that.
There are other pipelines that are being simultaneously.
What I am saying here is that the cat is a very, very honest pet only when the fish is not available within its reach.
Okay. I think we're going to have to...
And that is correct.
Yeah.
Because this is 58 points within 8 weeks.
Then we still within the same...
We will still find more.
Are you therefore saying that we should expect more?
If we work harder.
Revelations.
It's not about revelation. Government should make concerted effort, because this overnight balloon stealing cannot happen without government connivance.
All right, I'm going to have to go there. I'm going to have to go here. They told me about a couple of minutes ago that I should have gone, but because this is gripping,
more points will be discovered. Those who made it will be deterred.
Okay.
And once they don't have access to where they have connected their own pipes, then they won't be able to steal from those ones.
That's
then
Debo Adeniran, chairman of CACOL, and we also heard from Mr. Obaro Ugadhe. Ugadhe, thank you very much.
Yes, but before I go, have you heard of anybody arrested? At Discovery Point, and people planted this point, and no single arrest.
Okay.
Well, let's leave it there. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Really appreciate your perspective this morning.
Right.
Okay, so that's our program then. It's been quite a vigorous one. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition, please. I'm Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.